Dear FISU student ambassadors, dear speakers, dear colleagues, and dear friends, today is the last Monday of the month, which means that today is the monthly educational session. Today's topic is the social media management topic, which is the most demanded session always by the FISU student ambassadors, because I think every third action plan objective has a social media task in it. But before we start, I really want to welcome the senior executive committee member and the chair of the FISU Development Committee, Mr. Martin Dalton, with his welcome words.
Hi everybody, hope you're going well. I've just ticked over here in Australia to the 24th of February, so I know what tomorrow looks like before some of you do. Look, I'm really rapt to be able to be part of this session. I've been a big fan of the Student Ambassadors program for the years it's been running, and given the opportunity, I always like to listen, in particular to what students have to say. So many years ago, you might not appreciate that I actually was similar to yourselves. I was actually a university student. Back in those days, I had no mobile phone. There was no such thing as email. Computers were only just coming to the fore, and most sports events were live and in black and white. So since then, as you can imagine, lots of things have happened, and I think that from FISU as a university body, we're moving in the right direction. But I'm really excited to have had a look at what Jacqueline and Selma and the rest of the crew are going to be working with you on tonight in terms of the digital strategy. And I just wanted to share with you that in my role as both now chair of the development committee and on the executive committee, one of the exciting things that we've been listening to recently is actually the new communication strategy. I'm not sure whether you feel the same, but for me, a lot of FISU's communications have been focused on old men in suits and not necessarily on the people that matter, which is actually the students. So I'm really excited to hear that our new tone of voice messaging is actually going to remove the corporate nature of what we're looking at to actually get to the point where we have a lot more student-based stories, and that we're actually going to be going towards a digital-first strategy. So hence the importance of tonight's workshop and the projects that you have within the ambassador projects. So I think that clearly that's the way forwards, because if we don't have a good story, we all have good stories, but if we don't know how to tell them or where to show them, then we're actually not getting our message across. And if our audience is student first, student focused, then very clearly you are the people who know where students are, and we need to make sure that our messages get to where the students are. So I'd like to thank you all for being part of this journey. It's really important for the whole of the university sport movement globally for us to all be connected together, which is what things like this morning does. But now I will wish you all the best for the rest of the session. I really look forward to seeing some of the projects, and I'll leave you in Jacqueline's very capable hands. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you so much, Martin, for that words. And well, now we can start here. It was really inspiring words from you, and you're right. We can have good stories, but if we do not know how to share them, this is something that we need to achieve now in these days to get more students here in the social media and get disabilities on how to share that good stories. And for starting, we have here Selma Chapel, the FISU Digital Communications Junior Manager. Hello, Selma.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good, and you? I'm happy to
Good,
see you all.
That's great. And now the floor is yours to start with your presentation.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I try to share my presentation. Let me know if you see it. Is it working for you all?
Yeah, we can see it.
Great. Great. Thank you. Yes, hello everyone. It's really nice to see you and nice to meet you. My name is Selma. I'm Digital Communication Junior Manager here in FISU. I'm in charge of our social media platforms. I've been working here since 1.5 years now. Before that, I was working at OGC Nice with the Football Club of Nice. Yes, today's presentation is to show you how to use these platforms and more general information to increase your visibility on social media platforms. So the first important part is the platforms and to understand that each platform has its own type of content. You have LinkedIn, who is more corporate and institutional information. Then for more entertainment content, you have Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And to finish, X, who is more direct and institutional information too. Now your role on social media, it's to help us to promote FISU and FISU events, to help with the collaboration with the NUSFs, with all the actors of Unisports, with athletes, get some good story and show us the atmosphere of each events. Help us to create content and to build this Unisports community. For the example of social media activation, you have live video that you can do on site during the event, but also more like build-up content before events. You can do also interviews of Unisport actors. It can be the public, it can be the athletes, or each Unisports actor that have something to tell about our events can be more than welcome. You can help us to create official groups page on social media too, and to be engaging, to be how to say it, to be present on social media platform thanks to challenges, quiz that you can do on your platforms. Now for some do's and don'ts on Instagram, but it works also for Facebook. It's really important to create various trend formats like reels, like carousel or stories. Yes, one important thing is to tag people, to ask them to be on the collaborations with your posts. Tag us, FISU also, to increase your visibility. It can be the athletes, it can be also the NUSS or the official account of the city, for example. Yes, as you know, social media is always changing, moving, so be on track of the trends. And yes, of course, have an inclusive and a welcoming message on social media. And now for the don'ts on Instagram, the consistency is really important. So we invite you to have a schedule and to follow it and to be really present. For example, each day have a post or a story or a little thing to say. It's really important. When you post, it's important also to understand what works and what don't. So you should understand the analytics. Yes, also don't be bored about the over promotion. It can turn flowers away. And yes, as I said, as much as possible to engage your audience and try to do some quiz or to answer to the comments, to the message you received. It's important to engage your community. Now some general information. This is the podium of the platforms. You have Facebook, who is the most important one. Then you have YouTube and Instagram. So as you see, YouTube is social media, but it's focused on video. That is really, really important to use video on your social media platforms. And for that, including video, it allows you to increase your visibility and to be more present on, for example, Instagram, because the algorithms prefer the video. It's an engaging format also. This is for the video. Then you have the importance of the timing posting. It depends, of course, of your time zone. But for example, on LinkedIn, we know that people connect in the morning before to go to work, for example, and in the evening. So during this time, it's really important to post. And also for Instagram, after the work day, let's say the work day hours, we have more impact. So yes, if you can understand that and then post each content on each platforms regarding this information. And to finish, yes, some tips. As I said, for the video, what is really important is the 3 first seconds. So be careful of this, because people come to your post, and if the 3 first seconds are not impactful, they can go. So you can lose reach and engagement. So be careful of this. And for Facebook and Instagram, it's important to post vertical videos, use as much as possible emojis, and one of the most important things is to use high quality content for photos, for graphics, or even videos. The most important thing is to use it on the high quality as much as you can. So this is for me. You have my contact just here. If you have any questions or anything regarding the social media platforms, I will be more than happy to help. Thank you.
That was a great presentation, Selma. And now we open the floor to the students to have to make any questions that they have. I don't know if there is any specific question that they have here. They can do it on the chat or ask here directly.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask you one question because here, well, we saw the perspective from the FISU and what is important here on this side. So you cover a lot of important things of what to do and what not to do. So from our side here as a FISU Students Ambassadors, how can we help you here at FISU to communicate or to share information, or how can we on social media help FISU?
Yes, thank you for your question. It's really important. And this year we have, for example, the championship season, who starts in Casino. So, for example, we want to show to the world what are our events. So if you can help us identify top athletes or top story or images, anything that can be great to show on social media, it's really helpful for us. So help us to identify what kind of good story we can share. It can be great for us. And also, you are students, you have the access of universities. So if you have, again, good stories or some topics you want to show, just let us know, and we can, of course, I'm sure we can work all together on our main account also. So this year, for example, we really want you to help us build this and create content on our platforms.
Yeah, that's great. And we have so many athletes here as an ambassadors, so I think that they also can share their stories and tag and make collaboration with FISU.
Great. Can't wait. Thank
Well,
you.
that's perfect. Thank you so much, Selma, to you, and thank you for covering this part here with FISU and communications. And now I'm giving the floor to Julieta Boschi, the FISU America Communications. She is going to help us here on the FISU America side. So welcome, Julieta.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It's truly an honor to speak with so many students and ambassadors from different countries. And yeah, thank you very much, Shaki and Alvina, for thinking of me for this opportunity. I really love to share my work, so thank you very much. I'm so happy for that. And yes, well, today I want to talk about my work at FISU America and how we can communicate university sports in a real, human, and powerful way in 2026. Okay, I'm going to presentate. You can see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect. Okay, well, I'm Julieta Buschiazo. I'm a bachelor in social communication, and I have a postgraduate in sports journalism too. I'm part of the communication team at FISU America. We are a team of 4 people working closely together. Ines is our head of communication, Andre is our graphic designer, and Jean-Pierre and I, the communicators, okay? At FISU America, our mission is to ensure that everything happening within the federation has visibility and reach, okay? We manage the full communication strategy of the organization. Of course, student athletes are our protagonists. So we tell their stories, we share their routines, we show how they balance sports and studies, and we, of course, highlight their achievements. They are the reason of our social media success. That's the reality. When we talk about the communication coverage of sports events, that means not only publishing content online, but also designing and coordinating opening and closing ceremonies, including protocols and scripts. We work directly with the sponsors, establishing their presence and activation strategies during the events. We organize press conference, provide all information to media outlets, interview athletes, we participate in live broadcasts, and we also oversee the visual identity of each event. In the year, we have a lot of sports events. For FISU America, we have the FISU America 3x3, we have the FISU America Chess, the FISU America Esports, we have the FISU America Combat Sports. In 2025, it was the first edition of the FISU America Combat Sports. And we also have the FISU America Games, where student athletes compete in 14 sports. Yeah, and we also communicate key institutional initiatives such as IDUs, strategic dialogues, and general assemblies. In short, our role is to transform every action of the federation into visibility, connection, and impact. And also, I think our most important goal is to transform university sports into stories that people can see, can feel, and can remember. Yes. And we are talking about communication. Why communication matters, okay? I think today sports doesn't exist only on the field. If something is not communicated, it almost feels like it never happened. So I think communication gives visibility, and visibility gives credibility, and the credibility creates growth. Yes. And okay, we are talking about you and what you can do as ambassadors. And I think you, as FISU ambassadors, represents values, diversity, dreams, leadership. So you are the promoters, the real promoters of university sports. And I think communication is one of your strongest tools to fulfill that mission. So use it. Please use it. I think if you don't tell your story, someone else will tell you for you. So the question is, what story do you want to tell? Yes, and do it. Well, I was talking with Jackie, and she told me that many of you work with federation accounts, and some of you may use your personal profiles to promote the sports. So that's pretty good, yeah. But we have to make a difference here. These are two different spaces, but you have one purpose, that is promote university sports. So personal accounts can be more emotional and spontaneous, and institutional accounts must be clean, consistent, but still human. Why? Because federation don't grow because of their logos and fantastic design. Yes, that is very important, yes, but they grow because the people, because the athlete, because the achievement and the story of the athlete. So that is the point, okay? And that's why today I am bringing the content formula. This is the formula that I use always, because, well, I think every strong piece has three elements: emotion, a real person, and a context. Because results alone are only information, and it is a little boring, yes, but the stories behind that results, that creates connection. So you have to go to in that way, yes, you have to search, you have to go for that story, that interesting story, and you have a lot. Our student athletes are incredible, yes, so you are going to can know a lot of incredible story of them. And of course, all content has its framework. Yes, this is the base. When you are making content, when you are thinking your content, you have to make yourself these 5 questions: what, how, who, where, and when. When you, for example, when you're making your content, well, first you have to go to what. Okay, what do you want to say? What is the message? What are your objectives? Okay, then how? What format will we use? How will we say it? What design style fits our identity? I think here the key is the format diversity, because if you have like a feed with a lot of reels, that's just a little boring, yes. But if you have like if you have a feed with, for example, one reel, then you have a carousel, then you have an interview, then you have a highlight, you have a challenge, a pub, I think that is more interesting, and your audience is going to watch it. Yes, you are going to capture their attention, and that is the key. Yes, then you have to, of course, think about who is your audience. They are students, they are athletes, they are sponsors, university. Yes, who are you going to talk in? Yes, and then which platforms will we use? If it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, it's a personal or institutional accounts. Yes, and then you have to thinking on when. I think this is really the base. Planning is not optional. Yes, my best advice is that you have to stay organized. Yes, I think you can plan your monthly content and move step by step, because planning is everything. If it doesn't work if you post, for example, 5 days in a row and then you disappear for a month. Yes, that is a mess. Yes, you need to establish a posting frequency that is realistic for you. Yes, and sustainable for you. If you can post, for example, twice a week, that's perfectly fine. Yes, but you have to be consistent and to stick it to it. Yes, for example, let's say you decide, okay, on Monday, I want to publish an interview with an athlete who won a gold medal in the Winter Olympic Games. Yes? Okay, perfect. First, you have to go to the formula. Yes. The real person is the athlete. Yes. The context is the games, and then the emotion is the achievement of winning a medal. Yes, perfect. You have the formula. Then go to the framework. Okay, when you move to the structure, what question are you going to ask to that athlete? Okay, in what format? I think, well, it's an interview. I think a reel, it's okay. Yeah, perfect. Go for a reel. Then, who is your target audience for this content? What does audience care about? Yeah, what are their interests? Yes, and then where are you going to post it? Yeah, I think TikTok and Instagram is going to are good ideas. Okay, let's say TikTok and Instagram. And then on Monday as you plan. Yes, this is like a simple example of the step-by-step process that is very interesting, because this make a communication strategy instead of random. Yes, you have to plan all your content and all your communication and all your strategy. Yes, and well, let's talk about the hooks. You have to make interesting content, and I think here you have like one of the key, that is use hook. What is a hook? Hook is that message, phrase, image, or video strategy designed to capture the audience attention within the first 3 seconds. Yes, and making them stop scrolling. Yes. In 2026, attention is the most valuable currency, and without the hook, even the best content get ignored, and that's a really pity. So you have to use your hook to capture that attention. And here I put like 3 examples where you can see what is one hook. For example, in the first you have like a copy. You make some content and say, well, I put this copy. Today I realized that being a student athlete is not only about winning medals, it's about disciplines, balance, and resilience. What does the sport mean to you? Okay, here the hook is in the first phrase. Yes, this is your hook. Yeah, you are capturing the attention public with this. Then, for example, you can make a video and say, okay, I want to make a video about, because I am in events and it's my first event and I am helping this as volunteer in the organization. Okay, you can do that video using a pub. Yes, and your pub, you are organizing your first university sport event. That is your pub, that is your hook. Yes, and for example, you also make your hook in the video editing. Yes, and this is an example. I want to, sorry, this here. Okay. Here, the hook is in the first 3 seconds. Look it again. Here. This is the hook. Okay. Let's go here. Did you can see it? Okay, let's go. Well, then talking about personal and institutional accounts. Here we have content strategy of federations, because federations should not only inform, yes, it should build community. So that's why I recommend 4 pillars. Yes, inform, educational content, inspire, and engage. Yes, if you want to inform, you can communicate results, announcements, official statements, event schedules, medal table, anniversaries. If you want to make some educational content, you can talk about what is university sport, what is idol, how to become a volunteer. If you want to speak, you can tell an after the story, a volunteer testimonial. You can make like a behind the science, highlights and recaps, athlete quotes. They are very important. And if you want to engage, you can do questions and answer and tag your team, for example. Yes. So I think, yeah, if you make this content, you have to think, okay, I want, for example, to communicate a result. Okay, but how are you going to communicate? What are you going to say? What platform you are going to use? What format? Yet you have to always go to the framework to make like a consistent content. Yes. And then talking about the personal accounts, if you use your personal accounts, you can use with intention, okay? You can show your volunteer work, you can promote federations initiative, you can explain what university sport is, yes? Because I think personal visibility can strengthen institutional impact, yes? So I think your personal profile can support your action plan, definitely. And if you go for common mistakes, what is like the biggest mistake? I think is waiting for perfection, because that is impossible, yes? So don't be afraid about making content, just making. You're going to learn in the process, yes? And I think the second biggest mistake is only posting results. We are like a social accounts that talk about the achievement of our student athletes, yes? So the results are not the only things to talk about, yes? They have stories, they have like a lot of lives, and they make like, they combine sport, study, so you have a lot of content to do with that. And you can also make games, challenge, you can, I think you can do a lot of things and not think only on results, yes? And the third is not interaction. That's a really mistake, because social media is not a billboard, it's a conversation, and you have to make that conversations possible, yes? You have to start the dialogues, you have to start the interactions. And when you make a content, you have to make sure that the person who is going to see, who is going to watch your content can leave a comment, can share it, yes, can be part, because they are producers too, yes? And I am bringing like a pre-post checklist when you are making content. I think this like checklist, then when you're making content, you do like natural, yes? But yes, before publishing, you have to ask yourself some questions, and this is, I think this is are very important. If it's the message is clear, does it work with sound, does it include subtitles, is it vertical, does it respect the brand identity, do you tag the federation, is there a clear call to action, yes? I think these are very important questions to do before publishing. You have to, to check subtitles, formats, identity, tags, yes, all of that before posting, because small details make big difference, yeah. And of course, you have to think about your audience, yes. Those who are going to see my content, they understand this or not, yes. And then you have like a pre-post checklist before managing a federation account. Yes, you have to think about what is the federation mission, what tone does it use. They use a formal tone, a dynamic tone, an educational tone. Who is the target audience? What are the main annual events? Yes, what are the federation's communication goals? Yes, that's our question if you are like working with a federation account. Yes. And talking about content, what work in 2026, I think people want authentically, yes, authenticity. And they want, for example, behind the scenes, they want to see real stories, they want to see simple formats too, yes? So you don't need like expensive equipment, you need consistency, yes? I think you can do all this content and you are going to do it very well, like real sport, real people behind the scenes, day in my life, get ready with me, before and after games, emotional recap, challenge. So I think you can, I think the key is to make different type of content. Yes, for example, say, okay, on Monday we are talking about results and information. Okay, on Wednesday, we are going to do like a behind the scenes of one event. Then we do like a challenge with some athlete. Yes, you have to make different content. Yes, and always go to the framework. Okay, what, when, who, where, when. Yes, that's the base. And well, I'm bringing some tools. I think you don't need complex system. For example, if you know how to use Illustrator or Premiere or Photoshop, that's it's incredible. Yes, perfect. But if you don't know how to use, I think Canva, it's a really good tool to use to design. Yes. For video editing, I think CapCut is excellent for trends, automatic subtitles, and effects. For organization, I think Google Drive, Google Calendar, Notion, and Trello are good tools. In FISU America, we use Google Drive. We have like in an Excel, we have like a master plan where we put everything there, like every content on social media, we put there. For example, today I had to write a note for the website. Okay, it's my responsibility. Then, for example, Jean-Pierre, they have to post a video on TikTok. For example, Andre, they have to design a carousel to post it the next week. And we put there everything. It's like our mind there. For analytics tools, I think Instagram Insights, TikTok Analytics, Meta, and businesses are very useful, and you have to use it because with analytic tools you can like see and analyze your progress, yes, your evolution in the social media, and it's very important for you. Yes, it's going to help you a lot. And well, I think that you as ambassadors are like bridge between university and students and between federations and communities. So before I finish, I want to leave you with one idea. I think university sport is powerful, but its powers grow when it's in. Yes. And you as FISU ambassadors, you are not only organizing activities, you are building visibility, you are shaping perception, you are creating legacy. So communication is not decoration, it's a responsibility. It's a big tool you can use, and please use it, please. And I think every post you publish, every story you share, every volunteer you highlight, you are like telling the world that university sport matters. And maybe somewhere in the world, a student who has never heard about university sport will discover it for you. And that is impact, yes? So yeah, let's go use communication. You know a lot of FISU, and you are the real promoters of university sports. So don't be afraid. Let's do and make a lot of content. I truly hope this presentation is helpful and inspires you to create valuable content for your social media or for your federations accounts. Well, okay, if you have any questions or message, I'm available. You can always reach out if you need any advice. Yes, here are my Instagram accounts. If you like to contact me in the future, of course, I'm available. And if you have any questions, I can answer.
Thank you so much, Julieta. That was a really amazing presentation. We got so many tips, and I love the formula: emotion plus person plus context. I think we also need to start using it, and everybody should do. And now we got here a question from Vladimir. What strategy could you recommend for a completely empty social profile without any followers and previous posts?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Could you hear the question?
No, can you repeat it?
Sure. Well, the question is from Vladimir. That is, what strategy could you recommend for a completely empty social profile without any followers and previous posts?
Sorry, Shaggy, can you tell me in Spanish the strategy of la estrategia que usamos?
Sí, ¿cuál sería una estrategia que podrías recomendar para alguien que está empezando en las redes sociales, que no tiene ninguna como experiencia previa o ningún post que ha hecho ni nada por el estilo? Como ¿cuál sería esa estrategia para alguien que está empezando?
Yeah, perfect. Well, hello, Vladimir. Thank you for your question. I think if you are beginning on social media, you my first advice is to go to, for example, Instagram and say, okay, I'm a FISU ambassador. You have to go to the FISU accounts and see and watch what they are making, yes, what they are communicating, and say, okay, they communicate what stories they communicate, what they are doing in the social media. So you have like one idea. And then you have to go for that story. For example, say, okay, I want, for example, I'm from Argentina, and we have a lot of athletes, university athletes in Argentina. Okay, go for that story and say, well, we have like one girl who won, I don't know, a bronze medal in the FISU Winter Games. Okay, you can interview that girl, and then you put in collaboration to FISU America, to, for example, the federation, the national federations too. Yeah. I think you have to go to like impact content and sensibility content, because the people like that type of content. When you have something to say, when you tell a real story, yeah, I think that is very important. And then you have to stay organized. If you want to make content, you have to plan your monthly, your months, for example, say, well, on Monday, I had to talk with that people. On Saturday, I going to see all the accounts of federation, what they are making, what they are doing, yes. And then, for example, you can also like watch the world of the sport world. Like, for example, last month we have and this month we have the Olympic Games, Winter Games. So you can see what happened there and what content the accounts did. Yes, I think that is like a base. See and watch everything you can, and then start to search people that is near to you, near to your country, and make content with them.
Yeah, thank you so much, Julieta. I think that yes, and if you do know how to start, you can also start with your action plan. That's a really good point to start. And from my side, I also wanted to ask you here, you talk a little bit about planning. What would be a piece of advice when you are starting of planning? That's really important, the consistency. So what kind of parts of um, how do you think for the planning, and I need to have what hooks I'm going to use, or what type of content I'm going to share with people? What are your advices if you are trying to plan here as a student?
Sorry, I have a lot of sounds here because I have the street here. Like, can you repeat what content?
Ya, la pregunta sería, ¿cuáles serían tus consejos a la hora de planificar para un estudiante a la hora de empezar a planificar? ¿Cuáles serían las partes que debe tener la planificación o cuáles son simples pasos que uno tiene que seguir a la hora de empezar?
The planification. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Jackie. When you are thinking in planification, I think the best idea is to make like an Excel. For example, I go into, if I can, I go into to share like our master plan in FISU America. That sometimes it's a mess, but I think it's going to help you. Here. I go into presentate here. So when we are making content, we have this master plan in FISU America. Yes, we have like the month, January, the events, like we have here like the start, process, public, cancelled, who is, what is the responsibility? Like I am here, Julie, Andre, Jean-Pierre, Julian, Jean-Pierre. And then we put here, it's a history, it's for feed, yes. Then here we have like some details of that content. Then we put like inspirations here. Then we have the copies, the tags. Then we put if It is for Instagram, it is for YouTube, for Facebook, for Twitter, TikTok, MailChimp, for the website. Then some observations. Then we have the objectives. Here we have like the metrics, yes, for, I don't know, for the size of, for example, Instagram and TikTok, yes. So here we put everything, yes. This is, for example, 2025. Yeah, here we have everything. And I think this, this tool, like use Excel, like a calendar, is very helpful because you can organize your content. Okay, you can say, well, I want to do this. Well, when, where? Yes, always use your framework and make that 5 question, because that 5 question of the framework, it is the base. Yes, if you are thinking on the content on how you can organize, well, what, when, where? Yes, when I can plan this, when I can edit this, when I can talk with another person to make this possible. Yes, it is not only on the content, it's on the world and on the world organization of that content that is going to be public.
Thank you so much, Julieta, and that's really a high value information that you just gave us. I wanted to say that everything that you said was really good for everybody here. And we got the perspective here from FISU America, from Julieta, and thank you so much. Now I'm giving the floor to Joely Lerms. She's the FISU Ambassador 2025 for Switzerland. Hi, Joely.
Hi.
Hello, thank you so much for joining us. She's going to give her experience here as a FISU Students Ambassador and studying social media. So the floor is all yours.
You're gonna share the presentation, right? Or okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay,
Welcome.
so hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining from everywhere around the world. My name is Joelle Lantz, and I'm a FISU Ambassador of Switzerland. First, a little bit about myself. I did a bachelor's degree in political science and communications at UH Manoa in the United States, and now I'm going to law school in a small town in Switzerland called Fribourg. I have played tennis on a competitive level since I was like 6 years old, and while studying in the States, I played on a Division 1 team. In my free time, I like to go on runs and try new sports. Right now, I'm trying to improve my dancing skills, but I've not been very successful so far. Yeah, so now to my presentation. One of my objectives with the FISU Ambassador program is to increase the reach of the university sports Instagram accounts in my home country. Almost every university in Switzerland has a university sports Instagram page, but often it is not well maintained and has almost no engagement. My presentation will be about how university sport teams can get more engagement, meaning likes and comments. It is based on my findings in my bachelor's thesis in sports communication, where I analyzed social media strategies and patterns of 4 college sport teams in the United States. I believe that most of the results can be useful for other university sport accounts, and I hope you gain maybe some more knowledge at least. So first I did a social media analytics, where I analyzed posting patterns of the accounts during the last 10 years. I used the app Tableau for the visualizations, if anyone knows that. And what I noticed were that all of the accounts had huge gaps between their posts, and there wasn't a lot of consistency. So if you have the possibility to check the patterns over the years of the account of your school, definitely do so. Then I also checked the most engaged posts over the last few years. So which post got the most likes and comments, and it was always a video. So just keep that in mind, how important videos are if you want to get more engagement. Then I did a content analysis, and that was the main work of my thesis. For that, I chose 5 categories I wanted to focus on. Okay, next slide. The post content type was the first one. That basically means who is on the photo. I made 4 categories. The first is team representation. So I checked on each of the 200 posts, which I coded if there are more than 3 people on the photo. The second one was athlete-centered, which I coded as 1 to 2 people on a photo. And the third one was public audience, meaning someone who is not on the team isn't the main focus. And then the last one was informational, meaning there was no person featured in the photo. As I said, I analyzed 200 posts in total, and the most engagement was on team representation photos, and also public audience photos did very well. The least engagement happened at the informational posts. So the takeaway, next slide, for the first category is to really focus on team posts. People want to see collaborations and teamwork, and they want to see who really is on the team. Also, don't forget to mix in posts that feature people or events besides team stuff. For example, make an entertaining post about shirts to win at the next game, or that there are drinks available, or something more creative. The biggest takeaway is to not just create informational posts, but that is what I see most often. It's usually just a photo with a time of a game or something like that. So my advice here is to make an informational photo first, but then make a carousel so you can swipe to the next photo and make the second photo more engaging. At the bottom, you can see the results of the coding. So on the left side, you see the subcategories and how often they appeared. And on the right side, you see the engagement for each category. Okay, so my next main category was the action featured content. I wanted to check if posts where athletes are in action, for example, hitting a ball or running or screaming or something like that, get more engagement that when they are posing for the camera. I made the categories action, no action, and travel lifestyle, meaning non-sports related action. For example, a travel photo or a food photo. Here, the most engaged category was the travel and lifestyle one. The action and non-action results were very surprising to me because the non-action photos, so when the athletes were just smiling and posing, they had more likes and comments than the action ones. Based on my previous research, it is usually the other way around, and I think it would also make sense if the action ones get more likes. So I asked myself if it has to do with the fact that I analyzed girls' teams. This would be an interesting new research topic to see if female athletes get more likes for post photos than male athletes, and vice versa for action photos. This is, of course, quite controversial, but it was an interesting finding of my work. The takeaway from this category is to post more behind-the-scenes content, like a barbecue or a fun locker room moment. Another takeaway is to actually pay attention to whether you post more action photos or post ones, and maybe keep the gender angle in mind. Exactly, and here you can see an example for a behind-the-scenes photo. Okay, then my third category, there's only 5, no worries, was communication purpose. I analyzed all posts and looked at what their main purpose was, with the 3 categories: match info, meaning scores and match updates, team promotion posts, which are usually just team photos or practice photos, and player promotion posts, which are like awards, like best player of the game, or getting to know a player, more something individual. The most engagement was for the individual promotions, and the least engagement was for the match info posts. Then the takeaway here is to make sure to highlight individual rankings or good performances as well, because it seems more personal for the audience. This connects back to finding from the first category. While purely informational posts should not be posted alone, match scores fall into a similar category. Make sure to post engaging photos along with the score, or the other way around. Okay, then my fourth category was meta-communicative visuals. Meta-communicative visuals are images or design elements that show you how to understand a post, not just what you see in it, and they help people know how to feel about it. It can, for example, be confetti or firework effects to make something more festive and give people a more celebrative feeling, or a black and white filter to make the post more emotional or serious. Here you see an example that includes several meta-communicative visuals. My results showed that posts including these elements get far more engagement than posts without. So here my advice and takeaway here to just not post photos and videos, but to edit them and make the audience feel something when watching the post. It can be as simple as a few emojis, a filter, or an arrow, or a text, but it makes a big difference. Then my last category is collaboration. I assume that most people here know what that is, but in case not, a collaboration post is a post that is published together by 2 or more accounts and appears on both profiles at the same time. Since both accounts are authored, the likes, comments, and views are shared. The results here were not surprising. Posts with several authors generated far more engagement, but the difference was actually huge. So my advice is to post as many collab posts as possible. You can just easily send a request to another account when creating a post, and the worst thing that can happen is that they just don't accept it. It costs nothing, and it's definitely worth it. For example, you can collaborate with a sports brand, your university account, FISU, or a local news channel. The options are literally endless, and based on my findings, the result can be very significant. Okay, so to summarize, I really want to encourage you to remember that there is so much you can do on Instagram. As the previous speakers also said, it is worth taking the time to look at the account you manage or help managing and check some of these categories. For the schools I analyzed in the States, it was beneficial to understand what content they should post less of, because no one ever really did an analysis like that. And now they try to post more of the photos that generate engagement. Of course, it depends on the school and the sport team, but it might give you some ideas about what to look out for. Currently, I'm working with my mentor on increasing the paper so it can be published in an international sports journal. So let me know if you're interested in reading the whole paper. Yeah, thanks a lot for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to ask or reach out to me afterward. I put my socials here.
Thank you so much, Jolie. That was an amazing presentation here. I don't know if someone from the audience wants to give any question here. Let's see. Okay, we got a person. Okay. Okay. I think someone raised their hand, but if not, I also get a question here. You talk a little bit about meta communication visuals. That's a really interesting topic here. So I wanted to ask, what would be your piece of advice about not to abuse the use of them, like knowing what is the limit or how to use it in a good way?
That's a good question, because that's what easily can happen, and then it does not end up in the thing you want to achieve. So I'd say if you're unsure about how much to use, ask a friend, because it's about what emotions it generates. And then you have an answer from someone else, because it is easy to get lost while adding stuff to a photo. Also, I usually try to not mix more than 2 when I do a post, for example, a filter and then a text, or an effect and an emoji. So I would stick to 2 mostly and ask a friend, but definitely try to mix it every now and then, not always to filter and a text, but use all of the possibilities.
Thank you so much. And I think Alicia from Spain raised the hand to ask a question here. Are you there, Alicia?
but I cannot. Are you hearing me? I don't.
Yeah.
Are you hearing me? Yes. I wanted to ask because now it's like there been many people that is using like IA for ideas or something like that for creating content. How can you detect or use it like in a proper way?
I didn't get the first part of the question. Can you repeat it, please?
It's about like the use of IA in social media, like how to use it in a proper way. I don't know how you should have some tips or something.
So in my work, I did not look at AI, and usually the people who created the content, or as far as I know, it was not with AI tools. So I don't think I'm qualified to really answer this question. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Don't worry.
Or maybe Julieta or Selma knows something about the use of AI.
Hi, sorry. To answer, we are not using AI even. We use AI, but just to help us on some little things, but not to create some posts, let's say. So I'm afraid that I can't help you on this. Sorry.
Hi. Well, in FISU America, in our team group, we use IA, but we use like a tool. We use, for example, to give some creative idea or for organize our ideas, not for work with AI, because I think our minds we have the powerful here. So yes, we use like a tool to organize all our content on all our ideas, because we are like four people thinking. So we say, okay, we have this idea, we want to do that. Okay, in the AI we'll put everything, and sometimes the AI organize everything and say, okay, we have this have like a body of our strategy, but only for that. Then it's, I think our mind it's better.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Julieta. And thank you so much also, Jolie. That was an amazing presentation. As I said before, I think many of us has get a lot of new information here to use and now to work with. And now we are going to start with my presentation here. So, hello, everybody. Just let me share my screen. Oh, sorry. Okay, can you see it? Okay, great. Welcome again. I don't know if it's the good morning, good afternoon, good night to you. Please get in the chat what time is for you now. But welcome. I'm going to share a little bit about social media management. I have been working with FISU Ambassadors Instagram since 2023, 2024. And I'm going to share a little bit about my perspective here working on that. And let me share a little bit more about me. If you know me, you know that I have been FISU Student Ambassador from 2023. It was 2 years. I was social media manager since 2024. I have been also team leader here in FISU Ambassadors. I was leading the group 3 that we got here. I don't know what group are you now, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Please comment. I wanted to know. And I know that we got some amazing team leaders this year. And well, to continue, I was mentee for the FISU Springboard program. I work with Ines. Julieta knows her. She's from Argentina too, and she's a really amazing person. My studies, I am industrial design engineer. That's internship that I started with social media, but this is one of my passions here. And I was in the FISU World Forum in Croatia, and I had the opportunity to be a social media assistant and a speaker for the FISU Volunteer Leaders Academy 2024. And let me continue here. Okay, so one uh, questions that we got here is what separates effective social media from random postings? Because sometimes we post, and post, but we are not analyzing what we are posting. So the first step to go is to define clear objectives. So we need to start with why. Why am I sharing this type of content before to go to the what? So if I know what is my main purpose here on this account, what do I want to share? Do I want to educate, inspire people, build awareness, drive action? You need to know these before to starting on posting social media. And if you already post on social media, ask these questions again, and you can see how the difference is starting here. So, for example, we got these two examples here. For example, the F1 Academy. What is the main purpose of this account? They are going to share what is Formula One for women, what are they doing, how they are doing it, who are the drivers. For example, they got this bus keys. Let us reintroduce ourselves. So this is really important, and we also have the FISU ambassadors. We are sharing the stories from the FISU ambassadors around the world. We want to educate about sports in universities and everything. So one tip that I can give you is when you define the why in your account, do one or three posts about it and pin it so people can see what you are doing on your account. So that's really important because are the first posts that they are seeing. It can be a reel, a post, a carousel, whatever, but it would be really a nice to have here on these accounts. And after that, when you have the why, it's also to choose the right platform based on the target audience. We got different social media, but not all the social media are for the same people. So it's important to see what kind of content do you want to share to who are the people. So if you want to be more visual, educate and engagement, you go to Instagram. If you want a fast discovery, you go to TikTok. I know that, for example, you can see here the top social media. Facebook is one of the most used, but if your target audience is not going to use Facebook, you are in the wrong platform. So it's important to, of course, you can share in different platforms at the same time, but always having in mind that the type of content that you share in one is different that you share in another one. So the engagement will be different depending on what do you share and how. And now the next step is also it's important to follow relevant and inspiring accounts. Uh, this is something that we do not know at the beginning. For example, we think that we need to share and we need to be unique, but you need to analyze what content is working now, what kind of format they are using, what the structure of the captions it is working for them, what is the most engagement post, what are the hooks that are really working now, and adapt it to your content. So start, for example, here with the Olympics, what they are sharing, what is working, what are the hooks. With FISU America, for example, here with Julieta, the EAT ambassadors here with Italy. So what is working for them? What is the context also? Because the context or the sport that you are doing is different. So it's important to look a little bit. Okay, this reel has a lot of comments. Why? What is the hook? What is the caption? And try to use it for your content strategy that you are going to use. And also, this is something important that you can identify content that is easy to create. Constancy matters more than perfection. I'm going to say it again. Constancy matters more than perfection. As Julieta said before, it's better to have 2 posts per week than none in 1 month or something like that. So see what is easy to create. You can also see so many videos that are so many hours to create. But for example, we got this video that is like 5-10 seconds and it's just showing the trophies here and one question. And we got so many comments, so many likes, and it's simple, easy to do, but got so many engagement here. Also, we got another one here that is the Winter Olympics in Milan guided caption. So people is looking at the video with some B-rolls. B-rolls are videos, and then they are commenting, reading the caption and everything. So see, for example, easy, effective content would be educational carousels, short reels, simple graphics, stories. You can use many tools, but try to do it simple, and with time you will be getting better on it. Okay, so the next step here would be having or including a clear call to action. The call to action is really important because you can turn passive viewers into active participants. People sometimes see the content, but they do not know what to do. What is the next step? So when you tell them, like, for example, save this post, comment your opinion, share with someone who needs this, follow for more, this is something, an action that they are going to do because it's okay. They are telling me to do something. I would do it or not is the decision of the person, but it gives this feeling or doing something, and it works a lot. So we got some examples here. I got this for Formula One. It was a post from Valentine's, and this is the call to action is send this to the person who is P1, this is the number 1 for you, in your heart. This is simple call to action, and see how many shares that we got here. It was 342,000 of shares, so it's a simple but it's effective. We got also here, this is an athlete that won 4 medals in the Olympics, and call to action can also be tagging someone, and it's like uh, a collaboration with this little sandwich. So it's this initiative to make the action here. Or we got some example here from the FIS Ambassadors Instagram. Save this for your next project and send it to that friend who is full of ideas but never knows where to start. This is simple call to action. It can start in the reel or in the carousel in the post. You can have it like in the main or at the last of it, or you can have it in the comments. So be sure that you always have a call to action, or at least in the 90% of your posts. And something important that we got here is to ensure visibility and stay connected. You can always share content and everything, but if you do not respond to the comments or share histories to maintain the community and engage with another accounts, it would not go really well. So try to be active, try to see what people like the most of your content, because the comment can give you ideas of what would be your next video, your next post, your next photos. So encourage conversation here will be really important. For example, we got here histories from the tennis TV, and this is okay, sharing about one um, event championship that they are having there, and also there is the link to go and watch it. So this is kind of connection that they are creating. Or we got here from Peace Ambassadors, and we got Sar. She collaborated with us, so we got more views because we are going having the audience of the FISU Ambassadors and the Sar followers. So this is important to always try to collaborate with other Instagram users or users of other platforms. And we got here that the important thing to have is to track results and engagement. We know that we have so many posts on Instagram, but if you do not know what is working and what is not working, you cannot improve on it. You cannot get better. So we got Instagram Insights. It's really easy to have it. You got it here. I'm going to show you. But the key metrics will be reach, engagement, follower growth, story interactions. Um, you can see many videos on YouTube, or you can ask AI something if you do not know about it. But with the time, you will get better on reading these metrics to improve your content. So if you are not familiar with this, with the Instagram Insights, we got here an example. You go to your profile, you go here up in these three lines and go to Insights. And after that, you will see the overview of the views that you got, the interactions, the total followers, and what is working on your site. So we got here more detail of this. So for example, we got here the post interactions, the likes it had, the comments it had, the shares, saves, and everything. So for example, you can try to share one post that is similar but with different caption. So you see what caption get more comments. This is a way to improve here. And at the end, we got here repeat and optimize. What works better? What is the best for here? So ask yourself, what topic was it? What format? What hook did I use? Was the call to action clear? This is the kind of questions that you need to ask at least one per week, or the most engagement post, not every time, because it can get overwhelmed. But if you do not have many times, see what are the most engaged and ask this to yourself, and then repeat the format, improve the hook, simplify the message, and test variations always helps. So we got simple examples here. With FISU, we got that there's the same format, but a different content, and it works. Or with the Manchester City and football, we got they are sharing reels of the highlights of the event. This is simple. This is the same type of content, but it's working. And we got also here, you can see they are sharing with the NBA the images and these middle letters here. This is the same type of content, but the same format, sorry, but different content. So use what is working and repeat it and optimize it. And if you are not sharing content, or you are not creating content, You can also help us grow here in FISU Ambassadors. You can tag us, make a collaboration with us. You can go and follow, and you can use our hashtags. So this is a way also to support us. Um, and yeah, that was all from my side. Thank you so much for listening. And I don't know if some of you have any questions here. Yeah, we got one person, Diana. Diana, can you turn on the microphone? Or maybe write it in the chat.
I'm sorry, maybe I did it accidentally. I'm sorry, Jackie, but good presentation.
It's okay. Thank you so much, Diana. Okay, and if we do not have questions here, thank you so much to the speakers. It was really amazing to having you here today. Thank you so much for all the information and all the advices. And now I'm giving the floor to Olvinia.
Thank you so much, Jackie, and thank you so much for all the speakers, for Julieta, for Selma, for Joel, and for Jackie. I really should admit that today's all presentations had many tips and guidelines. You can have them all in the shared folder, especially if you're watching the recording. It's very good you just go to the shared folder. After that, you can access this recording and all speaker presentations anytime. You can download them and like literally use as guidelines, because there were so many things that were different, but like the hook thing, the trends for 2026, there were so many things in common. And I think that it was a very practical presentation. You can clearly use it for your action plans during the year and anytime later. And I should also admit that I really like the fact when the FISU student ambassadors are moderators of these sessions, and Jackie was designing this one and growing so much also as a moderator and a speaker as well. Not saying that we have a huge time difference, but every day she is posting or preparing to post everything that you see on FISU Ambassadors, and it's really a great work. And as Salma was saying earlier, it's very important that you as students share your stories and help FISU more in 2026, and we will share this information later as well. So the last thing that I would like to say today, because we have 1 minute left before the for our agenda, that we sent the information about the FISU funding opportunity, that you can become the part of the FISU World Forum in Östersund. You all received this information if you are the FISU Student Ambassador of 2024 or 2025 or the team leaders of this session. There is a limited number of people that would be going, and we really want you to hurry up with the applications, because we have already started receiving them. If you have any questions on this application, you can send to education or to me directly. Just be very careful with the itinerary calculations and the prices, and also how you confirm and how you promote your application. Like really carefully write everything that is needed to be written. So the final date of submission is 1 month from now. It's the end of March, 24th of March, and we have already received applications, as I said. You should also discuss it with your federation, because if you're not getting the FISU funding, maybe your federation or your university can sponsor you or partner with you to send you to the forum. It usually happened previously, and I really hope that it will happen this year. So we have a very good opportunity to meet offline with many of you. And let me just say that the next session is organized by the Gender Equality Committee. It's earlier than usual, not the last Monday of the next month, but it's 10 March already. And we will send all the information very soon. Yes, it's the 24th of March. And for today, thank you so much. Thank you for all the speakers and for all the attendees. And enjoy the rest of the day and have a great week ahead. Goodbye.